having me. Thank you everyone for attending. And just a quick just elaboration on a bit more about my background. If you ever want to raise your kids to be entrepreneurs, you should start a food truck. My sisters, all of us, we study business. My eldest sister is also an entrepreneur, and my other two sisters will likely follow in that path eventually. So I guess for me, I want to share 3 things that I've learned since I've become an entrepreneur. And the first thing that I'd like to share is we all think we're imposters, but we really aren't. And I think for me, coming in, self-confidence has always been a question mark, right? The communities that we live in, do we belong? Do we see a lot of people that look like us? Are we capable of doing whatever we think we're capable of doing? And that's a myth. We are not imposters. And I think example, and maybe even just to further that, things that we're doing, if we're already great at it, we wouldn't be doing it. We'd already be moving on to the next job, the next career, that next step. And a classic example of this is I moved to Kenya this past July, and I found myself in meetings with government. I've never done that before. I've never been to Kenya before. In one meeting, they thought I had a giant pile of money to build roads for them, and lo and behold, I did not have that money, and I was thinking, please don't kidnap me. But just going back to the point of we're really not imposters. It's really just finding out what your strengths are and just continuing to go down this path that you're not too sure about, and eventually you will find an answer. The second thing I'd like to share, since I've become an entrepreneur full time, is you're always knocking on doors. And I think a classic example of this is Sam, when he was talking about running for election, he's always shaking people's hands. That is knocking on doors. And example for me is, so many times I just show up at a governor's office in Kenya. I had never met him in my life before, but I knew someone who knew him. I wrote his name on a business card, and I said, hey, I'm coming here by reference of this other person, let me in. And after 20-30-minute wait, I'm in a meeting with a governor or a government official sharing more about what I'm doing. And just a quick timeout. So what we're doing at Mobilized Construction is road maintenance software that gathers data conditions and then pairs that up with individuals from local areas that build these roads. And the reason why this matters is around the world there's about 1 billion people that don't have good access to roads. So that means moms have trouble getting to hospitals, students have, it's unsafe for students to walk to school, for farmers who are trying to get to markets, the crop might spoil before they get there. An example of that is with farmers, when it rains, they pay $4 for their taxis. But when it's sunny, they pay 70 cents. So for someone who makes $2 to $3 a day, that's just unattainable, they're just inaccessible. So going back to knocking on doors, a lot of the things that we're doing, again, we are not subject matter expertise there. So we have to just continue to just build these relationships, build these paths forward. And a funny story of this is I was back on Penn campus a couple weeks ago, and I, again, had this hint from someone to say, go meet this professor. And I was like, okay, sure. I'll just mention their name, and I'll show up, and I'll be able to get in the door. I was literally about to knock on the door, and I just hear keys rustling. I was like, oh, well, they're probably leaving, so I don't want to bother them. So I'm literally my nose is against the door, just trying to listen in. So I will walk away, and I was like, I'll come back tomorrow. And I was like, well, I'm already here. I know she's in the room. So I walked myself, I took a lap, took a deep breath, and I went back and I knocked. And she said, I only have literally from the door to my office to the door outside the building. And she's like, that's all you got. And I was like, that's all I need. So I ended up just talking with her, and she really, got my 2-minute pitch, and she sent me off to meet this other person and continue the conversation from there. And the last point I'd like to close on is always catering to your audience. So I think when you're talking to people, myself, I have my agenda. I'm trying to pitch something, trying to get something, or trying to meet these people. And one classic example of this is we just lost our CTO, so I was talking to one of our mentors about finding someone else, and I didn't really cater it. I was just spewing my pitch, my information, and I didn't do my research on him. I didn't realize what his expertise is, and I didn't realize he was looking for another future opportunity. So I guess what I mean by this is do your research, find out who you're talking with, and really get that background information, doing your homework to get there. And a metaphor that I think about is, given my experience in food, you cook something, and I think all of us at some level we like to cook. Sometimes when you feed it to other people, it may be good or bad, but if you dress it up, you make it look nice, you clean off the rim of the plates, it looks way more appetizing than a pile of stuff. So cleaning that up and really finding out what your audience member wants is really key to get them on board into what you want. So just to summarize and to close, these things, life, there's so many things we don't know what to do, don't know how to do it, and I think that's part of the challenge, it's part of the beauty of what we're doing, and I think just to go head on and tackle it day by day. Thanks.